Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. Fox from Blackburn Center, and I am sitting here on my front porch, my most favorite place to read a book. Do you have a favorite place where you like to read? Well, today I'm going to share with you a book called A Sick Day for Amos McGee. Have you ever noticed that there are a lot of opposites in our lives? Sometimes we're awake and sometimes we're asleep. Sometimes we're hungry and sometimes we're not very hungry. Sometimes we feel happy and sometimes we are not happy at all. Sometimes we like to move our bodies and sometimes we like to be still. So before we are still and read our book, let's move our bodies.
Today we are going to do some yoga. Now I'm outside, but you can do yoga anywhere. Have you heard of yoga? Yoga is a way of moving our bodies, and there are many ways to do yoga. The yoga we're going to do today will help us get ready for our story because our yoga moves have the names of the animals and birds in our book. So let's try it. All right, so first let's stand nice and tall. Can you feel your feet where they meet the floor? Can you feel all of your feet? You can rock back and forth a little bit. Feel all of your feet. Good. Now we're going to start moving up our bodies. So think about your belly. Bring your belly in, and let's bring our chest up and our shoulders down. You don't want your shoulders up like this. Okay, drop your shoulders down and just let your fingers and your arms be loose. This is called mountain pose because we are firm and strong like a mountain. So let's take a deep breath. Ready? And let it out. Okay, one more time. Take a deep breath in and let it out. That sounds like the wind on the top of the mountain. Okay, so we're standing nice and tall in our mountain. Now our first bird starts in mountain. So we're here nice and tall, belly's in, chest up, shoulders down, arms relaxed. Now make your arms stiff, like you are trying to touch your fingers to the floor without moving. Stretch for the floor. Now make your arms and your legs both strong and straight. And now let's walk like this. Can you guess what our bird is? It's a penguin. Go backwards. Can you do a penguin circle? Let's try it all the way around. Here we go. Good, good, very nice, good job. Now our next animal starts in mountain too. So nice and tall, feel your feet, belly in, chest up, shoulders down, arms relaxed. Now we're going to bend forward. So when we bend over, we're going to bend from right here where our legs meet our torso. So I'll turn a little bit sideways so you can watch. Okay, so we're going to bend over. Keep your back nice and flat. Remember, keep your chest up. So we're going to go down like this, nice and flat back, just like that. Good. This is called tabletop. And it's called tabletop because if someone would come and put something on my back, it would stay there, just like a table. It's nice and flat. Now, for our animal, take one of your hands, either one, and move it up by your head like this. You are a rhinoceros. A rhinoceros is a very large animal. So let's try walking like a rhinoceros. Big and strong and heavy. Can you go backwards? Be a rhinoceros with your big horn coming out. Oh, great. Good. Let's come back up. Good. Now, for our next animal, it's also a large animal. We're going to start in mountain again, just like we did. Now, we're going to bend over into tabletop, just like we did for the rhinoceros, only this time we can bend all the way over. Just let your arms and your head hang. Just relax. All right, now take one of your arms and swing it side to side like this. Good. Let's take your arm up and back down. And side to side. We are an elephant. Did you guess? Try it some more. Make that arm go back and forth. Let's walk like an elephant. Good. Go backwards. Nice. Bring that trunk all the way up. All the way down. All right, one more time. All the way up. And all the way down. Oh, good. Come back up. That was an elephant. Now, for our next animal, we need to sit on the floor or the ground. So let's sit down here on your knees and back on your feet, just like that. So just like mountain, we want our bellies in, we want our chest up, and we want our shoulders down. Now, what we're going to do is bend over like we did for tabletop right here from where our legs meet our torso. And we're going to stretch and see if you can touch your forehead all the way down to the ground. Let's try it. Okay, nice flat back. Down we go. Good. Can you touch the floor? You can also take your hands way out in front of you like this. This is called child's pose. Now to do our animal, we'll take our hands back by our knees. And we're going to just lift up our heads. We are being a tortoise, and we have a big heavy shell on our back. Can you put your head back inside? Back inside. Come out again. If you're feeling happy today, give me a big tortoise smile. All right, good. Let's sit all the way up. For our last bird, we're going to stay here. And remember, belly's in, chest up, shoulders down, and we'll put our hands right here on our legs. We are pretending to be an owl sitting on a branch. Did you know that an owl can turn its head almost the whole way around and see behind it? Now, we can't do that, but we can pretend to be an owl. So what we're going to do is turn our head to the side. Take a deep breath and turn our head to the side. Let it out and turn back to the center. Now let's do the other side. Deep breath in, turn to the side, let it out, back to the center. Now let's try adding that hoo sound that an owl can make. All right, so deep breath in, turn to the side, hoo. Let's do the other side. Deep breath in, turn to the other side, hoo. One more time on each side. Deep breath in, turn to the side, hoo. Other side. Deep breath in, turn, hoo. Well, those are all of the animals and birds that we are going to see in our story about Amos McGee. So why don't you find a nice, comfortable place to be still, and let's read together.
A Sick Day for Amos McGee, written by Philip C Stead, illustrated by Aaron E. Stead. Amos McGee was an early riser. Every morning when the alarm clock clanged, he swung his legs out of bed and swapped his pajamas for a fresh, pressed uniform. He would wind his watch and set a pot of water to boil, saying to the sugar bowl, "A spoonful for my oatmeal, please, and 2 for my teacup." Belly full and ready for the workday, he'd amble out the door. I wonder where he's going. Every day, Amos waited for the number 5 bus. "Next stop, City Zoo," the bus driver would call. 6 a.m., right on time," Amos would reply. Amos had a lot to do at the zoo, but he always made time to visit his good friends. "He works at the zoo." He would play chess with the elephant, who thought and thought before making a move. He ran races with the tortoise, who never lost. Do you see they even have fans watching the race and saying, "Hooray!" He would sit quietly with the penguin, who was very shy, and lend a handkerchief to the rhinoceros, who always had a runny nose. And at sunset, he would read stories to the owl, who was afraid of the dark. I wonder how Amos knew how to do those kind things for his friends. Maybe he knew because he had felt some of those things too. I think Amos had something called empathy. Empathy is noticing how someone else might be feeling. Or we try to imagine how somebody else might be feeling. Sometimes we can guess how someone is feeling because we had that feeling too. Maybe we were feeling shy and someone talked to us first. So if we see someone sitting alone, we could decide to go and talk to them first. Sometimes we don't know how someone else is feeling, but we can ask them. We could ask, "How are you feeling today?" Or say something like, "You look happy." Noticing how someone else feels and caring about how someone else feels is having empathy. We show empathy by the way we treat others. That's what Amos was doing. One day, Amos awoke with the sniffles and the sneezes and the chills. He swung his achy legs out of bed, curled them back in again, and said, "Oh, I don't think I'll be going to work today." Meanwhile, at the zoo, the animals waited for their friend. The elephant arranged his pawns and polished his castles. Those are pieces to his chess game. The tortoise stretched his legs and limbered up. The penguin sat patiently, all by himself. The rhinoceros worried that his allergies were getting worse. The owl perched atop a tall stack of storybooks, scratching his head with concern. "Where is Amos?" the animals wondered. Later that day. I wonder where they're going. There is a clue on the sign by the tortoise. They are on the number 5 bus. It must have been hard for the elephant and the rhinoceros to get in there. They went to see Amos. "Hooray! My good friends are here." The elephant prepared a game of chess. Amos thought and thought before making a move. "I'm too tired to run races today," said Amos to the tortoise. "Let's play hide and seek instead." The tortoise hid inside his shell. Amos hid beneath the covers. Amos yawned. "I could use a nap." The penguin sat quietly, keeping Amos's feet warm. Achoo! Amos woke with a sneeze. The rhinoceros was ready with a handkerchief. I'm feeling much better, thank you, said Amos to his friends. He swung his legs out of bed. Perhaps we'll share a pot of tea. Look how the tortoise can do tabletop. So I wonder how the friends knew how to be kind to Amos when he was feeling sick. Did you notice that they did for Amos some of the same things that Amos did for them? They thought about what Amos was feeling and what might make him feel better. That's called empathy. Amos wound the alarm clock. It's getting late, he said. After all, we have a morning bus to catch. So Amos said good night to the elephant, and good night to the penguin, and good night to the rhinoceros, and good night to the owl, who, knowing Amos was afraid of the dark, read a story aloud before turning out the light. And they all had a very good night's sleep. There they all go the next day, back to the zoo. We just read a story about empathy, noticing how other people are feeling. We can be like Amos, and we can show empathy to the people around us. If you notice that your grown-ups are feeling grumpy, maybe you can give them a hug or tell them that you love them. Maybe you have a little brother or sister that loves to play with you, but you don't always feel like playing with your little brother or sister. But sometimes you do it anyway, just because you know it makes them happy. That is empathy. Maybe you're at the playground or at school, and you see someone sitting by themselves, and you think to yourself that you like it when someone talks to you first, so maybe you decide to go and talk to that person first. That is empathy. Empathy is noticing how other people are feeling and then letting them know that you noticed. Can you show empathy to someone every day? I think we all can.